everybody except for Lando Norris is going to drive straight into turn 1.
Yep. And then Nico's driver of the day.
Lando, Nico, and Max are going to be the only 3 drivers that make it out of turn 1. Lando's going to drive away like super quickly. Max and Nico are going to have a little like midfield battle, but it's not midfield because they're fighting for 2nd and 3rd.
Podium battle.
Yeah, we'll get Nico on the podium, and he'll be driver of the day, obviously.
Nico's going to overtake Lando Norris last
Yeah,
quarter.
so actually Nico, like, his Sauber's randomly going to like kick into gear, and he's gonna like magically overtake literally everybody in like a lap.
No, yeah, and no, it's actually gonna happen the last lap because he wants to show off.
Oh yeah, he wants like the suspense.
Transform into the RB19.
Yeah.
He's gonna do a front flip into being the RB.
Yeah.
Nico's gonna win the race. Lando and Max, they'll both finish 2nd place.
They'll stand on the podium together because they're besties.
They're gonna share it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, okay, and then Kimi Antonelli is gonna be P3. But it's good. Kimi and Valtteri are going to share the podium because Kimi's 18 and can't legally drink. It's too early to be starting. I'm so serious.
You're ball, Katie. It's your freaking ball. That's the intro to this podcast.
That's the intro.
That's the intro.
So, hot topics. That's what we're going to go over today. We've had a little off period. It's Monday night, and it's officially race week for Miami. But we've had some time to go over a few hot topics because for some reason, I feel like this past week, we've had quite a few topics that have come up, like rumors, alleged things, whatever, anything like that. It's silly season's it's already happening. So it's coming upon us. This is a little pre-silly season, if you will. So we're going to go over a few hot topics that we've come up with, we've seen over the news, anything we've seen, basically. So the first thing we want to talk about is George going to Red Bull, Max going to Merc. They're going to do a little switch. Max Mercedes, George Red Bull. Let's talk about it.
No.
Can you imagine George wearing Red Bull kit every
Don't say that to me.
Actually, I could. I could.
I see pictures of George Russell in a Williams suit on my For You page, and I think it's not real. He was never there.
He was at Williams.
He was only at Mercedes. He's the only team he's been at, actually.
He looks so little and just not real. And I'm like, no.
Like, I can see him in Red Bull.
I would throw up. Like, seriously, no. Absolutely not. You know what's a worse mental image? Picture Max in that Mercedes race suit.
Okay, I like it. I don't care. I like Max in Adidas pants.
Max walking into the paddock in an Adidas tracksuit.
Could you imagine Max walking in an Adidas tracksuit with Sambas on and his baby with a Adidas tracksuit on?
No, Max in the reflective like NASA jacket that Kimmy said.
Why are they putting him in the baked potato saver?
Baked potato saver?
Oh my god.
Dude, no, that's just totally rude. I think he could go in the suit, but the space alien jacket is too far.
It's the space alien.
He only goes in AlphaTauri. That's the only non-Red Bull clothes he goes into is AlphaTauri. So you know what? Never mind.
Well, when he goes to Mercedes, he's gonna have to go into some Adidas. So
he's gonna have
him in that tracksuit, in those Sambas,
in those campuses. He's gonna look real.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
We got the baby in the Adidas tracksuit.
No. Imagine you put Max Verstappen in this Adidas tracksuit next to Kimi Antonelli in the Adidas tracksuit. One of them is gonna look better in it than the other, okay? And like,
hey, that's crazy for you to think that Max would not pull that off.
But it's crazy for you to say that Kimi Antonelli does not pull that off better than anybody ever could ever.
I feel like you would both.
No, because that man serves cunt in every Adidas outfit he pulls up in, and I'm like, whoa. Whoa. He shows up with his cute little outfit with his slutty little choker on every time. Have you not seen this?
No, that was a freaking necklace, but his neck got so big.
He wears his choker with that outfit every time, and I love it.
Dude, no, that wasn't a choker, though. I literally saw a video of him in, like, F2, like, F4, remember?
It was, like, down here.
It's so funny. No, it's so funny. It's so funny because every outfit he's got his cute little choker on, and I'm
His
just
neck
kidding.
like went from like this to like out to here. It's like
I wonder if he just can't take it off. It's like stuck now.
It's probably like ingrained into his neck.
It's gonna get like tighter each like race.
Each race it like starts choking him a little bit more.
Do you think he wears it while he races?
Probably. That man would not take that thing off. Like he has. I've never seen a picture of him without that necklace on. Okay,
That's so true.
he wears
That's
it
so true.
everywhere. But to talk about the actual topic, sorry.
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
Well, he's been meeting with other teams, but this isn't like, again, this is not some crazy thing for George to be meeting with other teams because his contract ends at the end of this year. So obviously he's gonna be looking for other teams. I do think that he would for sure stay with Mercedes if it was up to him. And I think that's what Mercedes is gonna choose too. But he's definitely looking at other options. And also the rumors that this happens, like when this happens, is definitely putting more pressure on Mercedes. So it's good for Max. Whoa.
Lord.
It's good for George. It's good for Stop. It's good for
Pause.
George that, have these rumors going on because then it's like Mercedes is like, oh shoot, he's looking at Red Bull, he's looking at McLaren, he's looking at all these teams. We need to go. So they're on their Zoom. I think that's what I hope so.
I think Toto talks so highly of George Russell. He's not getting rid of that man. Toto, like, he loves George Russell. Okay. And I just don't see
They go
I don't
free
see
swimming
George.
together.
Yeah, I don't see that
It's over.
partnership ending for a minute.
True.
I don't see
because
it happening.
Toto's the
Unless
kind of like team principal who wants to hang on to a driver for a very, very long time. Like he's had Lewis for so long. So I feel like George is gonna be there for a while.
True.
Obviously.
it's just like, I don't know, because it's like it's just some people are saying it's gonna be a swap. Max.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well, that's the only way that I do see it happening is if Max comes to Toto and is like, "Yo, get me a contract."
Yeah, it's. I feel like some people were almost saying it as if the teams were gonna organize this. I was like, you really think that Red Bull's gonna go with Max like that? Like you're crazy.
No.
Red Bull is not looking to get rid of Max, but if Max goes up to Red Bull and is like, "Yo, I'm leaving. I got that signed contract with Toto right now."
Yeah,
They're gonna obviously be like,
they want George.
"Well, George Russell's free, I guess. Come on over."
Yeah.
Like,
This is like such an unlikely thing to happen. I
don't think so.
I just don't even see it. I don't see. I think Max is gonna stay until next year and see how the Ford engine goes. And if it doesn't go well, he's just gonna go to another team. But I don't think we're gonna see any announcement for this season, or he's not, or an announcement for him to switch next season. So he's been physically like talking, like he was like hugging up on Flavio Briatore. He's talked to Zach Brown, whatever. And of course, people are
I
freaking
think
out.
George is just making his rounds.
Of course he is. That's what every driver should be doing. They should all be
Yeah.
making rounds. Like if you have an ending contract, you need to have every option exercised. And
Exactly.
there's nothing wrong with that. So
I think he's just speaking to people. I think he's just yapping. And I think Mercedes has his contract extension, like, if not done, almost done.
yep. That's
I would
right.
And
be
I think they're just
scared.
waiting.
I would be scared of Flavio if he somehow got George, Franco, and Paul.
Ooh.
That's kind of scary. Flavio already has like an Avengers ass fucking lineup right now, like just sitting in his pocket.
He's literally
We
collecting.
cannot add more people to that.
Next thing
There's
he's
no
gonna
way
be Arvid.
Oh,
Absolutely not. Absolutely the fuck not. Like
No.
we do not need to give Flavio any more options. He's got people, okay?
He's like greedy. You do not need that many.
He's greedy as bro. Because when it comes to putting them in for an FP1 session, are you gonna have them like box over it? Be like,
Yeah.
all right, the three of you get in the ring. Who's
No,
doing it today?
Remember that last last episode, we were like, we're gonna switch out all the drivers, like by dragging them out. They're gonna do that with
You
the
feel laugh.
reserve drivers.
Franco's gonna do like
Franco
3 laps.
Out, Paul in, Paul
Yeah.
out, Arvid in. Well, Arvid's not reserve driver, but
Yeah.
The F1 graphics person is already having such a rough time. Imagine throwing that on them too.
oh Lord,
I
that'd be rough.
think they would quit. I think they would retire.
Yeah, probably.
That'd be
They'd
actually
be like,
foul.
you know what? No.
All right, we have this is another one. Is so there's a whole thing in McLaren, right? So Lando was obviously the number one driver last season because he was leading the championship, and he obviously was just doing better. So that's just kind of how it went. Whatever. There's a bunch of people talking about the debate between who really is the number one driver in McLaren now, because a lot of people are saying, well, shouldn't Oscar be? Because Oscar technically, if you're thinking about it now, I think it's too early. But you think about it now, Oscar has won China, Bahrain, and Jeddah. Max has won Suzuka. Lando won Australia. Oscar's won 3 races, and he's won the most races. He's the only multi-race winner so far, obviously. It makes sense that Oscar would be the number one driver. But again, I feel like people are getting way too hasty. I feel like this should be given like 5 more races. Like you can't really decide until like everything's balanced out. And I think 5 races, starting in Miami, then at the end of that, you can decide who you think it is.
Yeah.
It's so early. I mean, there's only been 5 races.
Even last year, they didn't prioritize Lando until like the last couple of races. He was not prioritized the entire season.
Yeah.
And I think the best way for them to approach it now is kind of what they're doing of like whoever's ahead, whoever qualifies ahead of the other is the prioritized driver in that race.
And whoever's doing better, like sometimes like their pace will be better and whatever.
Yeah. So like if Lando qualifies first, he's gonna get first pick at strategy and pit. And same thing with Oscar. If Oscar qualifies ahead of Lando, we've seen in the past 3 races, he's gotten first strategy pick in what he wants to do. And I think that's the best way to do it at the beginning because you've got 2 drivers who are so close to each other in the championship at 1 and 2 that like it's so hard to pick a number 1 driver right now when they're separated by like 5 points.
Exactly.
How are you supposed to say like, oh, Oscar's number 1 when he's only like 2 points off Lando?
Yeah.
I think people just got a lot to say.
I think like y'all just need to take a breather. I get it. We're excited. I understand. The Oscar Piastri fans, I get it. Okay. This is how the Lando fans felt coming into this year. And then we got to this year and now we're kind of like, well, but no, I feel like I'm excited that Oscar's doing well, but I don't think this is like as big as everybody's trying to make it.
End all be all, like
yeah. I feel like people are trying to make it crazier than it needs to be. Like, they're doing fine strategy wise this year, which is a shock because last year they were a little.
Last year was scary.
Ferrari-esque,
but they're doing well this year, and so like I'm just gonna let them do their thing. I'm not gonna think about it too much.
Yeah,
it's 5 races in. We're good. We're chill.
I think I just think like race by race it's just going to define itself because it's like I feel like that's everybody's like, oh well, we'll see what happens in Miami, we'll see what happens in Jeddah, we'll see what happens. Like I'm like it's so stressful. You
can get back to me and like tell me like Oscar is like needs to be prioritized number 1 driver when he's got like a 30-point lead over Orlando in the drivers' championship.
And hey,
when they're like 5 points apart, do not come to me being like he needs to be prioritized.
Yeah, it needs to have a steady gap, and you need to see like, Oscar's doing consistently better each race. It's not like just like a luck thing. It's not like a race, like a track conditions thing.
Sorry, that scared the hell out of me. Oh my god.
It's genuinely just the fact that Oscar is better with the car because we've seen like there's a whole thing. Okay, so Oscar says the car is the fastest. Lando says the car isn't the fastest. In both press conferences, there's one post-race press conference that one guy asked Oscar. He was like, "Well, Lando says the car isn't the fastest. Do you agree?" And Oscar was like, "No, I don't agree." So they are obviously on different levels with this car. Oscar seems to be doing better with the setup, and Lando seems to be struggling a little bit. So unless they change that in some way in the next few races, which they probably will, with like there's gonna be upgrades. Yeah. There's always upgrades in like Imola, whatever.
That's what I've seen is that they're bringing upgrades to Imola.
Every car is bringing upgrades to Imola, and I think that's going to make it even closer. But I think it'll also just make whatever. It's all the cars are going to get faster, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, Oscar seems to be having the better luck, so I think people are saying that Lando will be the favorite in Miami. But I also think that Oscar is on a very strong high right now because he's won the past couple races. So it's almost like, well, he's won the past couple. He might win this one. But of course, Mano won last year. There's a whole safety car and stuff, obviously. So it's like, like anything can happen. Anything.
It's also supposed to rain on race day.
Yep.
Okay,
this is a 40% chance, but it always says it's 40% chance there.
It'll probably rain for like 5 minutes.
It always says that there's gonna be like a chance of rain. It's like for like 5 minutes. Yeah. So
I'm just like convinced that Lando is gonna like remember who he is and where he's at in Miami, and like come back into his own and like absolutely dominate that race. And that's what I need. So.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I have no idea what's gonna happen. I can't make any predictions until I see all 3 practice sessions. Even though they don't really help that much anyways, I have literally no clue what's gonna happen.
No idea. Absolutely no idea.
This race specifically.
I'm just guessing. I just like assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also this was back in Jeddah. F2 was also in Jeddah. They had a sprint race. And this driver, Arvid Lindblad, he is then now the youngest driver to win a race in F2. He's 17 years old. Yeah, I believe he's 17 years old, and he's now the youngest driver to win, and he won the sprint race in Saudi Arabia. And a lot of people are like, he's been a good driver. He's been a very good driver. He's got a lot of potential in him, like insane amount. And he also just got his super license recently, I believe. I don't know how long he's had it, but I remember this was a whole thing last year where apparently, I don't know if this was last year or recently, I don't remember. Red Bull was trying to get Arvid a special case to get into F1 without the super license thing. And now he has it. So now there's talks of him possibly switching or replacing Liam Lawson or Isaac Hadjar. And right now, I don't see that's happening yet because it's only been 5 races.
Isaac is cooking too.
They're also doing the car. Like I just don't. They're not doing bad enough for like this to be brought up as much. Yeah. But I do think that if one of the drivers, if they do bad, Arvid's going in right away because they're gonna be like, hey, you're out, you're in.
Red Bull has been looking at Arvid for so long that I think like they know that they want Arvid. And it's kind of like a Kimi Antonelli Mercedes situation where Mercedes knew that like we have to rush this kid through junior formulas because we want him on our team in F1. And so I think like Red Bull knows that they want Arvid eventually. And I don't think he'll replace Isaac because I think Isaac is doing really, really well. And I think he's a very promising young talent that Red Bull probably don't want to let go of. But sorry, Liam, if you're not cooking, they're already a little bit sick of you because of Red Bull, like how you did there. They're already like a little bit tired of you. I think so. Like if you do mediocre at RB, I think they're gonna be like, all right.
I'm interested how that would go though, because then you would have Isaac and Arvid as teammates.
Arvid is kind of
so
chill.
Young.
He's kind of chill young. Though.
That's what RB is for. I mean, remember Toro Rosso, this is a flashback. Carlos and Max were teammates in Toro Rosso. They were a brand new lineup, and they were also both it was also their first F1 season together. So this is what they do. They do the junior teams. That's like where they test things out. So I wouldn't be surprised if they put the 2 young drivers together. I think Liam Lawson is definitely going to be first on the chopping block. There's nothing like there's no significant like bad performance right now. So I'm not really, this is becoming a huge talk now. Like, I think we should wait. I don't know.
I think they'll wait. I think if they're going to make a swap, they'll do it during summer break.
Yeah, there's a common occurrence of people being hasty to make these I think it's just because we're a little bored, which is fair enough. I mean, that's what happens during F1, and that's the whole thing. So yeah, that's all we got for Arvid.
I think they'll do it. If they're gonna do it, they'll do it during summer break because they've already done a driver swap so early.
I think be crazy.
They'll hold off until summer break at least to swap, just to give it a minute so it doesn't feel like too.
Yeah. I'm very excited for summer break for silly season to start.
I'm so excited, guys. Okay, throwing in my own hot take here, guys. if Jack Doohan doesn't kick it into gear and Pierre Gasly continues doing what he's doing, sorry, but here's Franco. Okay.
I'm just worried that even if they switch it, Franco won't. Like,
I know. I'm just like I know Flavio Briatore is now like at the helm, and that kind of like I'm like, I know he's not gonna have as much of a tolerance.
Yeah.
And like, if Pierre continues to do as well as he's been doing lately, I think, and Jack Doohan doesn't like step up and kind of follow that lead, I think Flavio's gonna very quickly get kind of sick of it and be like, well, I've got a lineup over here. Let's throw another one in and see what happens.
Yeah, that's like exactly what's gonna happen. I don't know. Like Jack hasn't done anything like really significant. But like,
and that's what worries me for him is like Pierre Gasly has pulled off a pretty good like last few races.
They're just on different levels though, so you can't even compare them.
I know, but just
Pierre
like
is
thinking about it from a team principal point of view, like if you've got one driver who's like qualifying pretty high up and then still finishing pretty well in the points. And then you've got Jack Doohan, who's like if he gets into the points, it's just barely like, and he's not really doing anything as impressive.
Like, I feel like it's kind of hard. Like, Pierre's such a good driver. Like, he could bring a tractor. He's been driving that tractor for years.
It's hard to compare them, but like also,
Pierre is like fit, is very extremely fit for a top car. And it's not in one, and you can tell by how he's dragging it up there. So I don't know. I think this is it's just like he's a better driver, and that it's just hard to compare. Like, how much better is Franco going to do? Anyways, to switch over to the Cadillac issue. So Cadillac obviously is coming in next year. And everybody has their ideas and beliefs of who they think is going to be in the seats. That is a hot topic in itself. But specifically, Checo has been even more rumored, and a lot of people are talking about things happening in Miami. And apparently, there was something with like just I don't know, like just some rumors with Checo and Andretti and Cadillac, blah 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 blah, whatever. Well, actually, also before we get into Checo, there was something with I think it was Mario Andretti or something was in Pato's garage, an IndyCar race, which obviously Andretti's going to be at like the races and stuff, and he's probably just talking to him. But if you want to be dramatic, if you want to be delusional, that could be that
this could mean something.
It could mean if I know a lot of people will like bash people for being so dramatic. Oh, it's just a tiny little thing. You know what? Some of us like to have a little fun. Okay.
Some of us like to have fun sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes we have to have fun.
Let me live.
Let us live, possibly. Let us have
question mark.
Like obviously, Pato like loves IndyCar, so like there's like such a slim chance of him going to F1 because like he's got a good gig in IndyCar. So why would he really leave? Honestly,
I think I would murder people though to have Pato Award in F1.
Colton Herta and Pato, I just don't see going to F1.
But also, I'm scared because then he won't like. Oh my gosh, he's gonna blow up so much. Even though he's already like blown up, he's gonna go crazy.
Just keep Colton, keep Pato in IndyCar. Please. Yeah, we're gonna gatekeep them. But yeah, so there's a whole thing about Checo going to Cadillac. We've already known this, but apparently Juan Pablo Montoya, if you don't know what that is, he's a Colombian race driver, and he's won races in IndyCar, Formula One, and NASCAR. You know how impressive that is? That is so impressive. Anyways, so that's just in case you did not know who he was. That's a little sum up of who he is. So he has some credibility here. That's what we're trying to say. And he said that he would bet money that Checo and Zhou would be the lineup in Cadillac. And I honestly did not have Zhou in my mind. And honestly, I'm thinking
I rock with it. I don't want to be mean because I love you, Zhou, and I really do, babe. I think the smarter play is to take Checo and somebody really young that you can like grow the team with, like a rookie. That way you have
still technically pretty young. No,
he's still technically pretty young, but I'm like, if you get like a promising young talent and you get like an experienced driver, so that way you have somebody on lock.
Arvid.
But
Red
Cat,
Bull's
but
taking
Red,
too
he's
long.
got Red Bull Junior programs. The Red Bull's not gonna want to let him go. They're gonna be like, hands
taking
off.
too
Now.
That's true.
They
But
could-
Arvid does have the choice to make that decision. So if Arvid's like, yeah, new challenge, like,
Might as well.
Yeah, I don't know if he has like some kind of contract with Red Bull or something, because I feel like they oftentimes, like anybody in the junior program does.
yeah. But I
yeah,
think there's also a
it's
chance
low.
if Red Bull is not giving him an F1 seat for 2026, like he's obviously gonna want to go somewhere.
Yeah.
They could do. I mean, there's
They could do a loan deal. They could be
They
like,
could do a
we're
loan
gonna
deal,
give
kinda
you
like a Franco.
Arvid for for like a year or two until we get a space, and then we're gonna want him back.
That's what I think is like the most likely. If Arvid ends up being a candidate for Cadillac, that's what I think would happen. But yeah, I think Checo is extremely plausible.
I think Checo is like locked in. I'm like 99% sure. Because aren't Cadillac doing a thing where they're announcing like their team colors and stuff at Miami?
Yeah, they're doing like the livery reveal.
Oh,
Okay.
a lot of people were, there's some people that were saying that they're like, oh, I think that Checo's gonna be announced for Cadillac. But I'm like,
I did see a lot of people saying stuff like that about how like they think that they're gonna announce a driver there too. And I think if they were to announce anybody, it would be Checo because
that's early. I feel
Okay.
like they
It's
should.
my hot take. My hot take is that Checo won't be a Cadillac.
I don't. I'm very half on half this. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm also like,
Cadillac.
But also, he's probably settled. Like, I mean, he's got a family.
Cadillac,
he's
can
got
you take
a
Kevin
family.
Magnussen?
Yes. Yes.
Kevin Magnussen.
I
I
miss
don't hear
him.
that. I know he's in like what racing series is he in? He's in the racing series.
Is he in WEC?
I think he is.
Yeah.
In BMW.
I think
Yeah.
he's in WEC with BMW.
Honestly, I think he would honestly like prefer WEC at this point because WEC is a great series and WEC is honestly like it's honestly rising up as a bigger series and just like,
Yeah, but I miss Kevin Magnussen.
I just don't see. I don't know if I see him leaving either. I think Checo is likely. I can picture it very heavily, but I'm also like,
Yeah.
but I don't know who
But
they
at
would
the
do.
same time,
I don't
feel
know.
like he'd be chilling.
It's such like a complicated thing. I
think it'll be Checo. I think they're gonna need at least one experienced driver, especially as a new team. You're gonna want somebody with experience and thoughts and opinions to be at the helm of your team. You're gonna want somebody like who knows what the freak they're talking about.
and he drove one of the fastest cars.
Exactly, like he knows.
He got his
So he's got a lot of information and like insight, and I think it could be like a Carlos Sainz Williams type thing where he immediately comes into the team and can help them progress a lot. So I think Checo's a really good choice. I think Checo's a really, really great, very experienced driver that you can have for a couple of years. But I do think you probably want somebody younger. Not to say that Joe's not younger and not a good option.
He is 25, by the way. So he's not super old. He's not super young though.
No,
I
don't think Joe's a bad choice. I think if there's a promising rookie, I think you do that instead. But if there's nobody and you can't get Arvid or somebody like that, like Joe, easy.
There's a pretty high surplus of rookies, so I feel like they're gonna have quite a few options. But they're definitely waiting. So people saying that he's gonna be announced, I just don't. That's gonna happen in a long time.
I don't think so. I think they're gonna wait to announce drivers.
I think Checo could get announced maybe soon, but Miami gets crazy. The reason that we're saying Joe, or that people are probably saying Joe, is because he's a reserve driver for Ferrari, and Cadillac is using the Ferrari power unit for the first 3 years in F1 because I think they're working with General Motors and General Motors and Cadillac, whatever it is. They're working on their engine, and that's going to take a while. That's going to take years. So while they get that settled, they're going to use Ferrari, and that's kind of where the connection comes from. Don't know if it's going to be that strong of a connection, but it makes it more possible than it would have been before. So we'll see how it goes. Again, I just think this is a little too early to be talking about this. I think give it until I think maybe summer break we can get an announcement. Or
I think around summer break you could get like a Checo announcement. I think second driver they'll take a lot more time.
Yeah.
I think we won't hear about the second driver until after the season.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna want to really consider a lot of options for that one.
Yep.
Because you really could do a lot of different things with your second seat. You're obviously like, you want, no matter what, one very experienced driver. And if that's Checo, you're going to announce him whenever you want. But second seat, there's so many different ways you could go with it. If you pull an IndyCar guy, if you pull an F2 rookie, if you pull like a reserve driver, you've got a lot of options. So I think they'll take more time picking a second seat rather than the first.
Makes sense.
All right, so ending with the whole Cadillac talk, seeing all the rumors, we had a few hot topics in there to talk about. I don't know. If you guys have anything else, just comment. If you have any other hot topics, comment it.
Let us know.
We have a little free time before Miami. So that's really it, honestly. We'll catch you guys after the Miami Grand Prix. We have actually no clue what's going to happen. So this will be a fun race, I think. We'll see you after that. So thank you for watching. Bye.